Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 29. I can't tell you how happy I am that you are here and listening and courageous enough to hear what's in the Bible. I'm going to start today where we left off yesterday, which was rapid, unscheduled disassemblies, that is, explosions. And Paul's going to be talking about explosions of people here. This is in Galatians chapter 6, verses 1 through 5. So we're going to go from explosions, and we're going to talk about how to love. That's what today's all about. Brothers, if anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. That was yesterday. That was Elon Musk was right. And what do you do when other people explode? Then here's today. Keep watch on yourself, lest you too be tempted. Bear one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. For if anyone thinks he is something, when he is nothing, he deceives himself. But lest each one test his own work, and then his reason to boast will be in himself alone and not in his neighbor. For each one will have to bear his own load. So for those of you who have been with us through the book of Galatians, Paul has spent a considerable amount of time trying to separate the Galatians from the Old Testament law. And specifically the thought that by adherence to certain behaviors, we earn our rightness with God. And he goes all the way back to Abraham and says, no, we don't earn rightness with God. That's done by faith in Jesus' person and Jesus' process of the cross. So then what is today about in this passage in Galatians chapter 6? Well, he's going to talk about behaviors, that is, stuff we do that mark a Christian, that the characters, we already talked about some of the characteristics that mark a Christian: love, joy, peace, patience, etc. We talked about in Galatians 5, a verse which kind of ties into this, for you were called to freedom, brothers, only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another. And this passage is all about love. And how will we know that we're fulfilling this new law of love? Okay, so Paul has been nailing kind of the word law, and then he dispenses it in 5 chapters of Galatians, and then he brings back the word law again here, but it's a different law. It's the law of Christ. So you remember on Holy Week, it's called Easter, and then the day before that is called, I think, Holy Saturday, and the day before that is called Good Friday. Well, what's the Thursday called? The Thursday is called Maundy Thursday, which is a French word which means commandment. It's Commandment Thursday. So what's the deal? Why do we call it Commandment Thursday? Well, because in John 13, at the Last Supper, Jesus is saying, a new commandment I give you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. And that's what this whole passage is talking about. A new law. What's the law now? Do we have a law? Yes, we do. It's the new law, the Maundy Thursday law. It's the law of love. All right, so what does Christ burden us with after belief? It's this law of love. He's going to burden us with people that explode every once in a while, people that are burdened and will need help in carrying their burdens and will need restoration. He's going to burden you with yourself. That is, you're going to be tempted. You're going to have a tendency perhaps to think the wrong things, think you're something when you're not. That pride is going to perhaps sneak in here. And he's going to burden us with the responsibility to test our work. And here's what he's asking us to do. Am I loving? Am I obeying this new law that he's given us? We're tempted to say, well, I'm a part of a ship that's like, think of one of those old galleys with the multiple guys sitting there rowing it, 50 guys rowing the same boat. And we're saying, you're going to be tempted to say, well, hey, I'm on a fast boat. I'm in a good church or whatever. What Paul is asking us to do is say, no, all you're going to assess now is not other people. It's you're going to assess yourself. How am I pulling on my Lord? How am I doing on the tasks that the Lord has for me in his church under this new umbrella of love? In other words, am I bearing my own load? He says that. 6:5. For each one will have to bear his own load, assess his own load, and help others bear one another's load, and then test your work, test your thinking, test your temptation. It's like the math, at the end of a math test, your teacher says, check your work, look at it again, see what you might be missing, work the problem a different way. So we have a new law of love manifested and demonstrated by our activities and behavior. And then we're supposed to test it, test our work, assess ourselves. See, number one, let's talk about the oar again. So do you have an oar? Yes, that's called the gifting of the Holy Spirit. Everybody has an oar. And then you have to ask, is it in the water? That's a good question. And then is it pulling in the right direction? That is it fulfilling this law of love? And then he's actually asking, well, how are you doing? How hard are you pulling on your own oar, testing your work? Are you bearing your load and maybe helping others who are having some trouble? All along, testing our attitude. When we think we're something, don't do that. We're testing our location. Are you with a group of brothers and sisters who are on a boat that you want to be on? And are you ready, willing, and able to restore one of those people when they explode? In a sense, Christianity is brutal, or at least it's constant and it's regular. And this new law of love and bearing one another's burdens and bearing your own burdens and having it with the right attitude, and that attitude would be tested and our work is tested. These are all under the category of how we love. So today, my prayer for you is go and love. Assess your work. Test yourself. Bear one another's burdens. Bear your own burdens. Be a great lover today.